Good morning. Welcome to Screen Junkies Universe. I think it might be afternoon or evening or even the next day when you're watching this. Who's to say? Anytime you are welcome. Dan Murrell is here. I'm Roth Cornet. That's Joe Starr with the hair. Mr. Ed Greer. That's how I know it's Wednesday. And we're going to get into it. We're talking about what it takes to be a superhero, to play a superhero, not be one. We don't know as much about that yet. We are gathering the data. Joe's on that for us, I believe. We have more TV revivals, and we have some puppets for you, ladies and gentlemen. And we will have animals later today. More on that, not here, sadly. Let's
Roth,
talk about, yes?
I have breaking news.
You do?
Yes.
Is there a cat?
I'm very pleased to announce that the Hillwood High School elections, all votes have been counted.
Oh, boy.
Did we give him the SJU bump?
We did. My cousin Ruby is now the Hillwood High School Student Council Sergeant.
Yeah.
She did it, you guys. We did it. We did it.
What were those margins? What were those margins, Joe?
We didn't get into it. We didn't get into it.
All right.
She just, sent me a thumbs up on Instagram. She seems very happy. So, yeah, congratulations.
Good.
Sergeant.
Congratulations,
Yay,
Ruby.
Ruby. Earn this. We can do it together, you guys. So Mila Kunis has been talking about her movie that's out now, The Spy Who Dumped Me, which I actually haven't seen yet, but I heard is pretty okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
It's not perfect, but I enjoyed it.
It was a lot more actiony than people expected. Or a lot
Great
more
action.
violent.
Great action. Like I'm blanking on her name, but the director of that movie should be in consideration for like big action movies coming up because the action of that movie was really, really good. So yes.
What's her name for Bond?
Yes.
So
I feel
we
so bad I can't
we should get her
remember
name. Actually, Billy, if you could fact check us, that would be amazing. So anyway, she was talking about that, and of course, was inevitably asked, "Would you like to join a superhero franchise? And if so, which one?" She had been in talks and rumored around to be Catwoman and Lois Lane, a number of things over the years, and she basically was like, "Nah." Elaborating, she said, "No, it's a lot of working out. Lots of these people are hungry, and you have to, because you have to be in shape. And I don't want to be hungry for 10 years. These people, they're just like working out nonstop," which I think is an amazing answer and very honest. But it's weird in the sense that she already looks so great. I'm like, what would they make you do, Mila? But it also begs the question of what it takes for one of these actors to take on this role. Because not only, if you think about Hugh Jackman's schedule as Wolverine, he reportedly gets up at 3 a.m. to do a 2-hour workout. He does another one at lunch, and he does another one in order to achieve that physique after he's done shooting for the day. So it's a lot. They also sign multi-picture deals, and they have to play these characters over. Marvel used to do 9 movies just out of the gate. So that's at least a decade that you're playing this role. And then there's, I think we talked about this the other day, Joe, you brought up a point where if someone's playing a superhero, and Henry Cavill and I think Hugh Jackman take this very seriously, there is an expectation among the audience for a certain level of adherence to whatever the values of that superhero are, whether it's, and these are not bad things to do with your life. By the way, I think this is part of the blessing of playing the role, is that you might get to go to a hospital and cheer up kids. That to me is like one of the perks, that you might actually just be able to cheer up a child with your presence is kind of what's a bigger gift in life than that. But there are those expectations, I think, that you
Snaps that kid's neck. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's on the set.
He was going to grow up to be Zod. It was a weird Looper crossover.
Sorry.
By the way, Roth, the name of that director you're looking for is Susanna Fogel.
Susanna Fogel.
This is her first big movie.
That's
Well,
congratulations,
Susanna
Fogel
did a fantastic job directing the action.
Yeah.
So.
What's your take on this? Do you think that there have been actors that were in contention for some of these roles that truly did turn them down because they were like, I don't want to eat a chicken and only a chicken for the next 10 years?
I think there's probably a combination of it's high risk for an unsure reward, I guess, probably stepping into a major role like this, especially if it's going to be a multi-picture deal, especially if it's going to be like hardcore under the public eye. Like there's so much you have to put into something like this. We'll take Henry Cavill, who I just made fun of moments ago.
Sure.
A guy signs on to be Superman. Like that's going to be all eyes on you. That's going to be that same crazy, workout. That's going to be public appearances. That's going to be, watch your act online and with reporters and watch what you say, because then Warner Brothers is going to be like, what are you doing? We put a Superman logo on your chest. behave. Like that's going to speak to like every aspect of your life for the next, decade and a half. And you don't know what the reward is necessarily going to be. I think it's going to pan out for Henry Cavill as DC figures things out, because I've always said I really enjoy him as Superman. I think he's a great fit for it. But, first 2 movies out the gate, first 3 movies out the gate, people did not love. And so it's like a weird journey of, that guy's got to get up at 3 a.m. every morning and start doing bicep curls and knuckle push-ups and just kind of go, is this worth it? I don't know. And I think Ben Affleck is an example of a guy who's like, did I not think this through? I don't think. Maybe if I had played like a wizard that just gets to wear a robe and show up sometimes, and maybe that would have been okay. But I got to play the tire flipping guy, and I don't know if this is worth it.
Well, there's the tangibles and the intangibles. Would it be worth it for me if somebody wanted to give me a chance to star in 7 movies and pay me $40 million to work out every day for 10 years? Yes. I would 100% sign up for that deal.
Sure.
Happily.
Yeah.
Happily. They're not doing it for peanuts, most of them.
Yeah.
But it's the intangibles. Number one, when you sign on, a lot of times you might know the script of the first movie. But you certainly don't know what's going to happen going forward and what other movies you're obligated to. And the big intangible is reaction. Because you can sign, even if you have a script, you can sign on to what you think is a great script, and for whatever reason, that script doesn't hit the audience right, or it gets changed, or it goes to the studio notes, or whatever. That's what would make me give pause. Not necessarily like the tangible things, like I'm going to have to do these things for X amount of years. If it's worth the money and the work, then I think that's great. Mm-hmm. It's the intangibles that would kind of hold me back as far as like this seems like a great opportunity, but there's always the potential that it won't be.
Imagine if Halle Berry had signed on for 6 Catwoman Batman films.
She probably did,
pitch
to be
those
honest.
They probably just didn't get made. Do you think, on the other hand, if you play a villain, you're just allowed to do what you want and be just debaucherous in life because now you're matching your character?
I wish.
Yeah, because then I would want to be the villain.
Yeah, just like whatever.
Cast me as young Jabba right now. Just do whatever I want.
What's your take, Ed? You were going to say something.
No, I just think also there's a fair amount, and Zoe Saldana talked about this, amongst actors. These are the top 1% of actors. These are movie stars. They're guaranteed a couple. A period of hotness where they'll get a few movies made, where most actors don't have that security. So some actors look at these people in superhero movies and go, on some level, they're a little jealous of these people because they've made fun of Zoe Saldana and Chris Evans for being so-called sellouts, for being in these movies and signing these long contracts to be these icons forever. I think a lot of actors, on low-key, are a little jealous of that job security. Much like us as comedians, like me and Joe, there's guys who get like a late night show. Somebody we know gets a late night show. We could very easily go, oh, I never want to, go to Burbank at 4 in the afternoon and entertain a bunch of dumb tourists and talk about a bunch of dumb stuff. But
I would.
That would be such a blatant lie.
It's easy, but it's very easy for people to convince themselves that, oh, that's so bad. But that's what I'm saying. It's ludicrous, right? It's absolutely ludicrous because it's the hack argument. That guy's a hack. Most of the hacks are successful people that are more successful than you, and you're mad at them. So obviously, Mila Kunis is a huge actress. So I'm not saying she's in any way jealous of these people. But I'm saying there is a justification in a lot of actors' minds that all that security, the possibility for typecasting, especially as you get these roles as a younger person. Robert Downey Jr. is not going to be typecast as Iron Man because he has 30 years of acting before that. But for Chris Evans, for Tom Holland, some of these people, they could be Spider-Man their whole life and end up Reevesing themselves.
Yeah, it's a possible. Tom Holland, though, I think is already doing a pretty good job of doing other films. He's sort of like doing the Daniel Radcliffe Harry Potter move, but early, making sure that people understand he's also an actor.
What will his Swiss Army Man look like?
He'll play the fart, I guess. God, I want to see that movie now. I don't know. I think you're right, Ed, in the sense that Mila Kunis could mean this because I think she's in a position probably financially in her life that she could really mean like, I have a kid, I have family, like I am able to work elsewhere. I don't want to do that.
She also has the only thing that's probably more sought after in Hollywood than a superhero role, which is she has syndication money.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the gold mine. That 70s show is going to run in reruns in perpetuity around the world.
Yeah.
Jackie.
Forever.
And she did it when she was an embryo, so like she was rich before she.
And Family Guy.
Yeah, and Family Guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
we don't think about that.
Shut up.
She doesn't
So you
need
know what?
this
Shut
money.
up, Meg. You don't need to be a superhero.
Shut up, Meg.
She got that TV money, which I think is underrated. Like I know a lot of actors, especially prior to 10 years ago, would kind of poo-poo TV, but it's just like that's where the money is, because like all you have to do as an actor is be on a hit series one time, and you are set forever.
The Big Bang money is so crazy to me. But if you even think about it, Jennifer Aniston last year, I think, was either number one, number two, not highest paid, but basically she had earned the most dollars of any actress, and it was all endorsements. She doesn't work a lot as an actor anymore, but she still not only has a ton of money from that Friends money, but she's still making a ton of money each year just from doing endorsements. So she really could mean like then thanks but no thanks. I think there's a difference, though. You're right, between that and then looking at someone on a late night show and being like, I wouldn't want to. Like, of course you would want to do that. Yeah. There are jobs that you wouldn't want to do because you would think they compromised you. But.
You know what's funny on the flip side of Jennifer Aniston or Mila Kunis not needing a superhero role? Flo the Progressive Lady does not need a superhero role.
No.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, you want to be an Avenger? She's like, no, dude.
No,
like I bought a cabin with my Progressive millions.
It's insured out the ass.
The former Verizon guy too.
Yes.
Like it's weird. There are these weird gold
Girl
mines.
started with that sprint campaign.
Really?
Yeah. Melania
right.
had the sprint campaign, and now she's Squirrel Girl, and she said, yes, thank you. But I don't know if the sprint campaign was like FU money. Like that wasn't murder money.
No.
Friends is murder money.
Friends is. I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, just think about how much money they get every week just off of like
Sure.
U.S. and that is. I mean, that 70s show may not be in every country syndicated show. I know it's kind of culturally sort of tied to the U.S.
It's American
But Friends
70s, yeah.
is. I've seen Friends in every country, every corner of the world, dubbed into every language. It's insane.
So from my research here, and this is a couple years old, so it could change because I know TBS and Netflix also picked up the rights, but the Friends cast gets about $20 million a year in royalty checks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know? Yeah.
Joe, we got to write that sitcom.
$20 million. Come
I'm
on.
fine. I'm making fractions of a cent for a British murder robot tries comedy for the very first time on Spotify.
You're set.
So I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't even need...
I'm getting this sweet thing.
Next week, we'll talk about jobs that we wouldn't do, even for a lot of money. That actually did come up on the call with Billy and I this morning.
Well, I mean, the only thing that's disheartening about the physical shape that all these guys are in and women is that, number one, women are asked a bunch of more asinine questions, I think, about how in good a shape they are because of like sexist reasons and stuff. We have multitudes of pictures of press junkets where they're being asked so stupid questions about how they stay in shape, whereas the guys are asked different questions. But one thing I hate about it is that even Bruce Banner's in shape.
Yeah.
Even Bruce Banner's in shape.
Yeah.
You can't be. Come on, man.
He's not in Thor shape, but he's in shape.
But he's in shape.
It's because of the peers that you're around. Like Billy will know what I'm talking about on this, but like the ring announcers and referees are all in shape in pro wrestling, and it's like you don't need to be, but like they're around all these just like pro bodybuilders all the time. So like I better pick up some weights.
They have to push these wrestlers apart. Really, they have to separate them, so they got to be buff.
That's a good point. But I think that Marvel, I mean, technically, why would even Ant-Man need to be in shape? There's nothing about
He's a shrinky man.
Yeah. Well, I guess it takes a lot of energy to fly around.
Whoa, could you just shrink your gut if you had the PIM particles? Could you just like concentrate it?
Why is he even fighting crime? Like that's a huge...
Dude,
That's
weight
a
loss.
huge
Oh my
money
God.
making.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pin particle weight loss.
There's so many let's do the whole list of like the lost PIM businesses because he's apparently
Storage, obviously.
Storage energy. He had a house out of a box and there was plumbing right away. How did that work?
Yeah.
You know, and
right.
electricity. So cold fusion or some magic sorcery. I don't know. Something's in that box. But as to revivals and things coming back, Veronica Mars. This is in the show for me. And you, if you care, which I do. But it sort of got this. There's a Veronica Mars revival coming to Hulu. They, of course, did the movie a number of years ago. A long time ago,
well, right?
we were still friends. Okay. Creator Rob Thomas is said to be shepherding the project with, of course, Kristen Bell, who was the star of the show and has always been a huge fan. I think that's the favorite character she's ever played, and she's always wants to return to it. She's in The Good Place, which I think is 10, 13 episodes per season, roughly.
I think 13.
Is it 13? So because I was wondering how this could even work, but I guess you still have a little room if you're not doing the 26 to do both. Long story endless because The Good Place isn't going anywhere. It's great and it's very highly rated. Long story endless about this though. We were talking and I was super enthused just because I loved Veronica Mars. Billy's counterpoint was, but the entire point and the crux of that show is that she was this plucky teen detective. She's now an adult, so doesn't the charm of that particular show disappear with the revival?
To be fair, our friend DJ Woldridge asked the exact same question yesterday. So I feel like a lot of people are asking, what's the angle if she's just woman detective? That's any other detective show that's out there.
Way to hate Veronica Mars, DJ.
Yeah. I think that probably the charm of that particular version of the story goes away, but who Veronica Mars is as a character, it still remains, and how that adapts to adulthood could be interesting. It might not be, but it could be. What do you think?
I have never seen one frame of Veronica Mars. I have an admission to make. So many of the shows that were part of the WBCW verse over the years, I never got into. I got into Buffy late. I watched it long after it was on the air. Dawson's Creek is about where my knowledge of the WB begins and ends.
Were you a Joey?
Was I a Joey?
Yeah.
Or a Pacey?
Did you like a Joey?
It was very, they were like my age. Like I grew up in high school at pretty much the same age as that cast.
By the way,
so,
I didn't watch Dawson's Creek, so I think what I said made sense.
Katie Holmes played Joey. I feel like everyone had a crush on either Joey or Jen.
Yeah,
It was Michelle
Jen,
Williams.
I can remember.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say I edged more toward Joey than Jen. Yeah.
You seem like a Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dawson was a kid in high school, wanted to make movies, and was obsessed with Steven Spielberg. So it's like they made that show specifically for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't have much knowledge. I heard
Danson's
it was
Creek.
good.
It's great. I really loved Veronica Mars. I retroactively was a Pacey, but it was only because Joshua Jackson was on Fringe, which I love. You should probably watch Fringe, and that's a show I would like to. I guess it kind of completed 4 different times.
Well, also, I just think it's kind of, to me, it's super asinine to say what's the difference between this and any other detective show, because in detective shows, I grew up on detective shows. As I talked about last episode, watching Westerns with my dad, and another thing he liked to watch was like the Rockford Files. And he would go do some jazz. He didn't have a gun. He was always bluffing people to get into places. He was a liar. He acted a lot. And sometimes you just get knocked in the head and then left in the desert and stuff. If that happened to a woman, it'd be really horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world that she's inhabiting doing all this detective stuff is intrinsically different than a male dude. I'm not trying to virtue signal, but it's just a fact. So her doing all these cases as a woman, she's not Jessica Jones. She can't just twist a lock off or throw a guy's Volkswagen on the roof or whatever. You know what I mean? She can't do that. So I think that's intrinsically
Kristen Bell.
interesting.
She's 4'6".
Right. And I think a 4'6" person trying to solve mad crimes is really cool. They did Murder, She Wrote, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
It was a great show.
I really want
She
them
also
to.
threw a Volkswagen on a roof.
Surprisingly,
Lansbury,
that was
you know,
yeah.
She is freaky strong.
You know, that Marvel workout program, Angela Lansbury.
She's one of those Chris Pine abs, those Chris Pratt abs. I really want them to get into what being a full-time detective in your teenage years does to your psyche as a 30-year-old person.
Yeah.
That's.
And the lack of trust.
I'm always fascinated about stuff like this. Like, what were the 3 ninjas like when they became adults after their grandpa taught them to be ninjas and they fought a drug dealer on a boat? Like, what does that do? Because I still relive like arguments I had when I was 19 that were just shouty matches. And sometimes I'll just wake up like, that's too much.
Well, I could just see a scene where a guy's like collating some copies or something, and it just lets out a vicious kick that destroys the machine. It's like, this power!
Tum Tum, what'd you do? So that's what I want to see from Veronica Mars. I want to see what's wrong with her now.
Yeah,
because she
so many
spent
things.
all her youth detecting.
Is she with Logan?
She went full Logan. Yeah.
Well, also she couldn't trust anybody. I think her detective skills could never turn off. So I
But
think
that was
she
part
might
of the
grow.
show, yeah.
I think she would grow up to be even more jaded. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Given all the things she
Yeah, she was super guarded.
I like that angle because so many projects are aimed at teenagers, like Buffy, Veronica Mars, Harry Potter. It's the premise of the thing is that like this is their story. It's like they're teenagers. Like they have this is like 5% of their story, and they have 60 more years to like be the actual people that they're going to be. And you never see that because they're like, and they're 19 and they graduated. The end. It's like, no, that's not the end.
Yeah.
There's like the cool stuff comes later. Trust me. I'm not old. I'm still cool. It gets better as you get older.
Lots of things do get better.
Just also a little hurty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more painful. You move a little more slowly.
Yeah. You might have to do this several more times a day than you currently do.
Well, you can injure yourself sleeping, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
This concept of like
You got a little crick in your knee, but
the person's
We're
life
cool.
story is over because you stop at 19
Yeah.
or 20 or
it's
24.
Sort of like what Happily Ever After used to be, right? Like once you were married, then your story's over.
yeah, that's at
right?
the end. And it's like, no, that's kind of the beginning in a weird way.
It's like a bunch more stuff.
I want to say a divorce story. It's like, all right, who gets these crystal slippers? You know what I mean?
when Charming and
it's when
and
it's over.
Cinderella break up.
They really did not know each other.
Who gets all these bluebirds and
I
shit?
feel like Charming and Cinderella would be like War of the Roses. Did you guys ever see War of the Roses?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It would just be like they would be putting duct tape in the middle of the castle and like setting each other on fire.
I want to see the high fidelity moment in Frozen after the sister and the little ice maker guy break up, and Elsa just storms into his like ice shop and is just like, "Hey, Rob, you asshole!" and then just freezes the whole place and storms off.
Yeah.
This has
That's my
gone to
Frozen
some very good places today, and I feel like I'm pretty proud of us. Later today, Nick Mundy returns for Movie Fights tomorrow. Oh God, I knew it was Wednesday because Ed is here.
Yep.
Did you know it was Wednesday?
Did I? I don't know. Well, clearly not.
You did say Happy Wednesday this morning when you came in.
Well, life's variable. I'm a woman of many moods.
It's gonna be a good
That's the
show.
new movie. That's the new movie poster. Woman of many moods. Just different pictures of Roth all around the central field. Yeah.
No, look at that. We're raising awareness for Care Rescue LA,
Yay!
which is a really cool animal rescue organization. Carlson, Emma Fife, and Mundy.
Yeah.
God, what a lineup.
Yeah,
That's some of my favorite fighters.
There's gonna
That
be
is-
some animals
There's gonna be animals
in the studio.
in the studio.
Billy just had to go buy pee pads. So
Yeah.
I did have to buy pee pads, and I will say a little peek behind the curtain. Nick asked me, how silly can I get? So I think it's going to be a fun one.
It's gonna be a good one.
That was a good question.
Look forward to that. You know what else is fun? Puppets. The Happytime Murders comes out this weekend, and I got to interview some very, very, very raunchy puppets. Take a look. Bye. What happens in a world where puppets are real and a killer targets the members of a 1980s all-puppet TV show, The Happytime Gang?
Someone out there is killing puppets. We're gonna catch the bastards who did these murders. Because bodies are gonna start piling up.
You're one of the best damn cops I've ever seen.
I got to speak with the puppet cast of The Happytime Murders, in which investigator Phil Phillips, whose super famous older brother was in the Happytime Gang, reunites with his ex-partner, played by Melissa McCarthy, to hunt down a puppet murderer. Warning, these are very sassy puppets, and what you are about to see is absolutely positively not safe for work. Seriously, no kids. Hi, I am here with puppet PI Phil Phillips, notable sexual enthusiast Sandra, and former Happytime Gang star, current degenerate Goofer. Thank you guys for being with me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Love
Nice to meet
having
you.
Here.
Hey, handsome. You looking for some rotten cotton? I'm a woman.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's even
Got
better.
a good time for you.
Sandra, I wanted to ask you, you've been intimate with both humans and puppets. What's the difference?
About 6 inches, but not in the direction you'd think.
Now we know the purple carpet doesn't match the drapes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm listening. Have you been with any famous humans or puppets? Would you care to name names?
Well, I want to be discreet. So I'll just say her name rhymes with wham chop.
What does that climax sound like?
Meh. and then it goes on for a while.
That sounds accurate.
Goofer, you've had some famous encounters as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I've slept with Morgan Freeman.
What?
Well, somebody who looked like him. George Takei a couple times.
Get out of here.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was hot in the sack.
Is that how she got the Notorious?
Probably.
Phil,
Yeah.
what was it like just growing up with a more famous and successful brother who's just essentially better at you than everything?
Ouch.
Not sure about everything.
Here I go. Here I go. Here I go.
But it's a little painful. Everyone assumed that I was going to be like Larry and become a performer, and I don't act, I can't dance, and I don't play an instrument. Although I found a trumpet once, and it was in a field. But then I got hit by lightning holding the thing. Anyway, so f it.
What's it like being a puppet in a world full of humans?
Oh, a lot of stuff's big, right?
Yeah.
Amusement parks aren't fun. I can't go on any of the good rides because of the height thing.
Do puppets have brains? Or is it just the stuffing?
Yes and yes.
Yeah,
Does that answer your question?
it does. Do you feel like you get cut out of housing or jobs or things like that? You've had some struggles in that area.
Yeah. Although, I gotta say, I am closing on a refrigerator box at the good-smelling end of Hooker Alley, so I feel like I'm moving up.
Oh,
the chain.
congratulations.
How
Thank
nice
you.
for
That's
you.
wonderful. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. Tell me all the things that you would do for this packet of sugar.
Oh,
Look at
Jesus.
that.
This is your brain. This is your brain on sugar sticks. Any questions?
Why would you remove a guy's brain and then fry it in a frying pan?
No.
How about this? I will put my mouth on any part of your body, literally any part, for 60 seconds.
For 50 cents, I'll suck your
Well, it's a great price. It almost makes me wish I had for you to suck.
Do you have a rock bottom?
That's
I
not too.
had a rock bottom.
Let me see.
Oh.
No, it's pretty
Oh.
soft.
Yeah, it's
Really?
soft and
Yes, but I have
fluffy.
had rocks up it, so, you know.
Do you guys have any advice for the children whose parents will probably accidentally bring them to this movie?
Oh, I do. When a mommy puppet and a daddy puppet really love each other, they sometimes like to in an aggressive and angry manner. And then sometimes daddy gets on top and they just start each other.
Whoa,
And then
whoa.
they flip each other over.
We're talking about children. We're talking about children, right? You said children?
I was mentioning the children.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's my point.
That's not good. You don't say that for children. What are you talking about?
I think she's telling people not to take hits to this movie.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the Happytime Murders on August 24th.